Hi, I'm Andrew Berry and welcome to At the Bench's YouTube channel. This film is a response to a question that was asked in our last film. I'll post it up by here for you, just by here. You can go and check that out at the end of this film if you like, or do it now and come back to this film. Anyway, it's a question that was asked about faces of hammer, how to look after your hammers. Now, when you get your hammer brand new from your jewelry tool suppliers, invariably it always comes like this, always comes with a nice, gorgeous shine to it. And that's the way it should be, because obviously as you hammer something with the face, whatever is on the face here will be transferred onto the metal. If this is nice and smooth, nicely highly polished, well then the finish that is going to be left on the metal is going to be nicely polished as well. Now, if we were using our goldsmith hammer like this to perhaps planish a rivet or something like that, well, the rivet will be nice and clean. And if you accidentally hit the surface of the metal as well, it won't leave so much of a mark because the face here is nicely polished. Now, in our workshop downstairs, we have this small little hammer like this. This is a tiny little hammer. And we use this all day, every day. We use this for tapping pins out of watches and just little rivets and that sort of thing. And you can see the face of this. This really has had a lot of wear. There's lots of marks upon the surface here. And also this end here, you can see it's supposed to be smooth, but it isn't. And we basically abuse this hammer. And this is a simple Draper, a Warrington hammer. It has a nice smooth face on here. It also has a cross pane on the end of here. Now, this comes from the next door neighbor here. This is, oh yes, the price ticket is still left on it. This comes from an ironmonger's, and you can see the face is pretty much nice and smooth. I even think there's a bit of a coating over that to make it look and feel smooth. But as you can see, it doesn't have a high finish. It's got the lines on it. And what this film is going to be all about is actually how to finish the faces of your hammers. This one is a gorgeous frets hammer. This is a hammer that I really do look after. As you can see, the face is nice and shiny, but the others I do abuse that little bit more because I think they are quite a cheap sort of purchase. So you can look at it in this way. You can look at it that the face of the hammer has been nicely polished, nicely smooth. A high finish is going to produce a high finish upon the piece if you hit the metal with it. Alternatively, if you want to make a texture hammer, just file and go mad with the face and put a texture on here that then will be imparted upon the metal. But we're going to look at cleaning the face of the hammers. Now, what you don't want to do is to use your normal buff sticks and emery paper that you use for doing your silver and your gold. Because we're going to be playing around with the face here, we don't want any steel or anything to be impregnated in the files or even into our buff sticks, because if we're working with our silver and gold, that may be transferred into the metal, into the surface of what we're working on, and you won't get a very good finish. So what I always like to try and do is get some really old files. Keep some old files. This is an old file that I've kept. I just simply put it into a handle. Once it is absolutely rubbish when it comes to using it on silver and gold, I don't throw them away. I keep them. I have a drawer full of them, and they come in handy for this type of exercise. So let's see what we can do with this. This is a really worn face, as you can see. And all I'm simply going to do is remove that paper out from my tray a minute. And all I'm going to do is, and also perhaps don't have anything in your tray that you're going to sweep up the lemon with. Make sure your tray is nice and clear as well. And we're simply going to use this file. We're going to come over the face. Now, what I also like to do is not have the face completely flat. I always like it to be slightly convex, slightly rounded. So there's no chance then of the edge of the hammer sort of banging the metal and making a mark. So come over the face, use the file just to remove those nasty marks that are in it. I'm not going to do this hammer just yet. I don't need to file the face of that just yet. So let's go over the face. If you want to tidy up the outside edge, make sure that's nicely rounded as well. Smooth it all off. make sure it's nice, and then once you've gone over the face with the file, get yourself some emery paper, and again this is some emery paper that I leave hanging around for instances like this. Put it onto a flat surface and then get the face of the hammer and just simply rub the hammer now up and down. Now don't forget to rock it slightly. I want to make sure that it's a nice rounded face. You can see where the metal is coming off. And you want to make sure now that you remove all the file marks that you have just put on. And once you've done that, and you've got a nice even covering over the face of the hammer, you then can move on to some other emery paper that's just a little bit finer. This one here. And do the same with this. And work on this and just swoosh it around. So what you're trying to do now is to get rid of all the marks that you put on using that paper and have a nice fine face. With this one, looking nice and smooth, and then once you've done that, you can then move on to your polishing. Let me just check out this hammer as well. Yes, I was right. There's a little bit of lacquer over the face of this hammer, so we need to remove that lacquer first and get back to the actual face and the metal of that hammer. You can see the lacquer on that there. This is the area that's the metal, this is the lacquer. Go over this. Remove it all until you're back down to the metal. Nearly there. And go over the face, and again with this, make sure that you've got a nice even coverage of these lighter marks all over the face. Super. Okay, now once you've done that, we're going to get quite a hard felt mop. If you've got a bench mounted polishing motor, brilliant, use that. Get an old little mop that you may have put to one side that has gone too small for doing your jewelry polishing, and keep that just for polishing up metal. I've got a really old little felt mop here. We're going to just put that in our pendant motor, just looking for my handpiece. There it is. There we go. Looking for my chuck, pop that into there. And again, you really want to make sure that you keep these mops specifically for this purpose of doing metal. Safety specs on. A little bit of Tripoli, if I'm on the pedal. And come over the face with the polish. And what you're looking to do is exactly what you do with jewellery, is to impart a nice polish on the face of the hammer. That's that one done. This is going to take a little bit longer, bit of a bigger face to polish. So yeah, if you have your bench mounted polishing motor, it's going to be far quicker, far easier. I can see there are some lines going vertically. I'm just going to polish at 90 degrees to that. I'm going to get those scratches out, those marks out. Okay, so that's that face done and this face done. We can wipe that over with a rag, get all the polish off. And then if you want to, you can get your rouge mop and go over the face if you really need to. You've got a gorgeous polish already on this one. Likewise on this, from that dull lacquered face, we do have a nice shiny face on there. Again, a mop that you're not necessarily going to use in your jewelry. That's a too nice a one, that one. Let's get an old one here. Okay, so this is an old rouge mop that we're going to use. And again, keep this separate from all your other jewelry mops. I think I've obliterated that one by the looks of it. I've never done that to a hard felt mop before. So get your rouge this time and go over the face and impart a nice high finish, a high polish on the head. There we go, and likewise on this guy. You don't necessarily need the rouge. Usually the triply is going to be enough just to get a nice shine. There we go, you can see your face in it now. So that's all it takes just to bring these old marked hammers back to a condition that you can use it, or an old hammer that you've used and abused, bring it back into condition that is not going to mark and not going to mar your jewelry. There we go. Gorgeous high shine upon this guy. You can see the reflections of everything around me in that one. Likewise on this chap here. Nice reflective face upon there. And likewise you can do the same on this face here as well. Again, get that old file and just perhaps use it and shape it just that little bit into exactly how you want it. And on this side as well. And do exactly the same to that little cross pane area. Buff it with the emery paper and then come along and polish it. So there we go, really quick 10-minute film showing you exactly how we can finish the faces of our hammers. So when we come to strike a piece of metal, the mark will be nice and smooth and almost a plannish look. As opposed to the ends that may look like this when you strike your old worn out hammer onto your metal. Very quick and simple. Don't forget, please subscribe if you haven't done already. Don't forget, give this film a thumbs up if you like it. Leave a comment down below. Let me know other topics that you want me to produce for our YouTube channel. Don't forget, smash that bell icon if that's something that you're into and you want to be notified when films go live on our YouTube channel. Thank you very much. And don't forget, someone's just messaged me. And don't forget, smash that bell icon if that's something that you're into and you want to be notified when films go live on our YouTube channel. But in the meantime, my name's Andrew Berry for At The Benches YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.